Alright, we're going to stop for a second here and talk about what we're doing today. Well, it's the middle of July, we're looking for lake trout, and these fish are really deep. So what we're doing is we're using a downrigger. A lot of people are kind of scared of these things, but it's actually a really nice tool. All a downrigger is it's just a big lead ball with what they call a line release on the back end. We're trolling for these fish. We're looking more or less some big jerk baits, big stick baits. This is a Smithwick Rogue, or here we've got the Chaos that Dynamic Lures is making. This is a big Dynamo swim bait. We're fishing with these big baits. So what we're doing is we're stacking our rods, which means we're fishing two pulls off of one downrigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our bottom pull first, which is going to be the furthest up in the boat. So we're going to let out about 20 feet of line on this bottom one. You can let out anywhere from 15 to 50 feet, but just kind of play around with it and find what works for you. The other thing you might notice is we're using both spinning gear and bait casting gear. You can use either. Again, just find what works for you. I'll show you here real quick how to do both. So on our spinning rod, we've let out about 20 feet of line. We're going to loosen up our drag until it comes out relatively easy. It's not free spool, but it's coming out pretty smooth. We're going to set this in our rod holder here. And we're going to jump up here and grab our line, hook it to the line release on the downrigger. And we're going to run down about 10 feet. There we go, we're at 10 feet right there. Then we've got these stackable line releases by Scotty, and all they do is they just clip onto the cable here above that other one. And now we're going to take our second rod here. For this one, we'll use a bait caster. I'll show you how to do that. This particular bait caster has a line counter on it, so we're going to let out about 30 feet of line on this top one. I like a little bit shorter line on the bottom so that they don't tangle as much when you catch a fish. There we go. So what we're going to do on this bait caster is, instead of locking the lever forward, we're just going to turn on the clicker. This will allow us to let the line out real smooth. Again, grab your line, put your rod in your rod holder, and the top rod here is going to be the rod towards the back of the boat. Same maneuver, just set it up in your line release, flip it on. So now we want to send these lures down to where we're fishing. These fish are hanging out anywhere from 80 to 85 feet of water. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to send this all the way down to 78 feet. Just remember that your lures are going to swim a little bit lower than your downrigger ball. So for instance, when we set this to 78 feet, our lure is actually swimming like 83, 84 feet of water. So just be careful not to hook the bottom by going too deep on your downrigger. So here we go, we're going to let this go. You can see both lines are coming out smoothly, the drag on the casting reel, and then the clicker's working well on our bait caster. We've got a counter here on the side of our downrigger that tells us how deep we are. We're going to let it go to the desired depth. Right about there, we'll call it. Go ahead and flip the lever forward on this, and then go ahead and tighten your drag back up to where you want it on your casting reel here. And then all you gotta do is just go ahead and snug these lines down. You don't want to make them so tight that they pop the release, but tight enough to take up the slack when you do catch a fish. Today we're using pretty big releases because we're hoping to catch some big fish. A lot of these littler fish aren't pulling our lures out of the release, which is okay, just because if we happen to stumble into a big fish, we want that tension to set the hook on that big fish. So that's what we're doing. We're running it on both sides of the boat, so we've got 4 poles going. We're staggering them, so I'm setting this one at 78 feet, this one at 73, which means we've got lures running at 78 on the bottom here, 73 on the bottom there. Then we've got one at 68 on the top here, and we've got one at 63 on the top there. So essentially we're covering 20-25 feet of water in one pass. So those fish can be sitting anywhere from the bottom to 25 feet off the water, and they're going to get a glance at our lure, which is exactly what we're looking for, because these lake trout are hanging out on the bottom, but they're coming off to feed. So when they're getting hungry, they're coming up off the bottom where these schools of rainbow trout are hanging out and feeding on them. So that's what we're doing. Let's see if we can catch a fish. So what we're going to do is we're going to fish with the bottom rod. So we're going to go ahead and clear the top rod. We want to get this out of the way. Just feels like we got a big fish on here. So what we're going to do, we're going to clear everything out. I'm going to get this rod out of her way. We're going to reel up the downriggers and get everything out of her way as best as we can. We'll start with her side of the boat. When you're reeling these up, don't forget you've got the stacker clip on here. You can shear a downrigger line if you reel it in too fast with that clip on there. I was going to double check that we've got proper, our drag looks good. Color. Oh yeah, we've got a nice fish on here. There we go. Yeah, that's a 5 or 6 pound lake trout right there. Nice, Vic. Man, what a beautiful fish. We're going to try not to keep this fish out of the water very long, but I'll give you a quick look here. It's a nice 5 or 6 pound lake trout. We're going to get him back in the water here and let him go.
It's on, it doesn't so huge.
Not a bad fish. Another really nice fish. Well, it looks like we're running out of light tonight, but hopefully you learned something about downrigging for lake trout in the middle of the summer. Just because it's warm doesn't mean you can't find them. Hopefully on your next trip you can use something that we talked about tonight to catch some more fish. But between now and then, I'm Ryan from Weekend Warrior Outdoors, and remember, the next time you go fishing, take somebody and show them how amazing God's creation is. Thanks.